Yesterday, Black Ops 4 got the 1.12 update, about 7 gigabytes of content that's yet to come to PC as far as I'm aware, but it was something that added some of the framework for the camos that will be coming out later this week, and also a handful of things elsewhere, including new featured game modes for multiplayer, and as well a brand new game mode in Blackout. But the big thing that was missing from that update, which a lot of people were thinking was going to be happening, and rightfully so, was League Play. League Play was something that was announced initially pre-launch, but then ultimately, as of recent updates, was pushed back till late January. As it stands today, the second to last day of January, you can't get much later than this, and yesterday, being that big update to round out the month of January, players really thought this would be the time when League Play was finally introduced. However, it was unfortunately delayed again. So, what happened? Today we're going to be talking about the truth behind League Play, what is still up on deck, and when we can actually fully expect it now going forward. So kind of everything you need to know about League Play as we start to get ready for what February may offer. Now, jumping into it, League Play was ultimately delayed. Treyarch stated in a blog post talking exclusively about League Play yesterday that it'd be pushed back until mid-February. We'll come back to a more accurate date later on in the video when we discuss everything here with this, but why was it delayed in the first place? Why was it delayed after an already late release of late January? Why was it pushed back even further? Well, the first traces that we may see as to why this was actually delayed can stem all the way back to a Reddit update on January 8th, in which a lesser covered excerpt of that blog post and update from Treyarch stated that our planned schedule is to release the World League Hub and First of League Play event by the end of January. That said, we want to make sure that we've spent enough time playtesting and incorporating feedback before it launches, so this date is subject to change. Late January was always that tentative release date, but unfortunately it never was really set in stone. So to see it delayed is something that does now fall in line with the at least public reasoning that we are given as to why it's pushed back to mid-February. From what we're told, Treyarch detailed that they were taking more feedback into consideration, they were adjusting the already existing CWL rule set, and those changes we can actually see adjusted in-game with those competitive settings in private matches coming later this week. So those things include new restrictions of specialists of Ajax and Torx being fully restricted, Prophet Seeker being restricted, Firebreak's Reactor Core, Seraph's Tac Deploy, and the score streaks of the Dart and RCXD being fully restricted as well. Same goes for Zero, and any new specialist that comes into the content of Black Ops 4 in the future, they'll remain out of competitive play by default unless specified otherwise. But maybe you don't care too much for the rule sets itself, you just want to play competitively, you'll adjust your classes and such as you see fit, and how they will need to bend with the rules. You're not necessarily concerned more so about the technical aspects, you just want to play. But that said, it was also delayed because of feedback that was actually going to reshape how League Play itself is formatted. So the old composition of League Play that was detailed all the way back in the Operation Absolute Zero initial teaser for League Play ended up mentioning that we'd have League Play events, gauntlets, and then clans and teams later in 2019 as well. And the way that this would end up working for this composition, the previously planned variation of League Play, is that ranked play would only be available in League Play events, which were shorter stints and shorter bursts of how the ranked ladders would end up working. It'd be very similar in length to a weekend tournament or a 2K as such, and those would be the only ranks that you'd have, but if you wanted to play the rule sets further, you'd be able to play in what was denoted as scrims, which would be an open series and ladder that was unranked and played in between events mostly during the week. But the key portion of that being unranked. A lot of players weren't too fond of that idea that the only rankings they'd end up having were short periods of time for weekend events as such. Instead, they always came back to that gold standard that players hold Black Ops 2's League Play to, in which you had month-long seasons in which you could climb the ladders and try and rank up as much as possible, whether you played 8 hours a day or you played 1 hour a day or maybe just a couple of matches a day. But that older composition never really accounted for that. So whether it's the true reasoning as to why League Play was delayed again, the reasoning we were given was to take into consideration more feedback, to which the new composition has some things with the older build of League Play that is the same, but also takes into account more community feedback, as described to us is one of the reasons why it was delayed. The fundamentals had to be changed around and therefore it shifted the entire project timeline, but will now emulate a hybrid between this new form for Black Ops 4 and some of the classic elements of League Play from Black Ops 2. The actual system now is built on more frequent events and shorter duration, staying in the original plans, but this also allows to combat against what Treyarch said Black Ops 2's League Play system offered in terms of dead ladders of League Play gameplay. There were so many players players in there that kind of just did not continue playing, so therefore the competition wasn't necessarily as accurate as possible. And also, the shorter events now allow for a more condensed and easier way to find gameplay experiences actually in matches. The more times that you end up playing, of course, the skill-based matchmaking kicks in and you find players that aren't necessarily based on ping and connection, so therefore it could be tougher to find those matches whenever you get into those higher ranked lobbies. It's not just filling in with whoever's closest by you and throwing them in your lobby. So therefore, in smaller durations, more players are more than likely to be playing, so it'll be easier to find matches. But also, the new offering will allow a permanent overall rank that will progress throughout your career within League play. So think of your Masters, Platinum, Gold, Silver, Bronze, and Iron from Black Ops 2's ladder system, but not in monthly seasons, but instead a more cumulative rank that considers your placings in each event that you partake in. Events will have smaller 50-player ladders and ranks that will ultimately determine how your overall rank progresses, and that you obviously still want to, of course, gun for that first place in each event, because finishing first offers the most credit towards your overall rank. So you'll be able to finish in different ladders in events, but how you finish in those events ultimately progresses your rank overall throughout your League play career. If you finish first in a League event ladder, your rank will then have a permanent mark to indicate that, and even more rewards and indicators will be denoted over time as you start to chain together wins or multiple first place finishes. But what's different here with this also is the frequency of these events seem to be a little bit turned up as well, and also initially scrims are changed entirely. Scrims at the beginning took the place of all the time outside of what events offered, and they were that, of course, unranked playlist. But Treyarch is adapting the League play feature so that the community feedback of wanting ranked play all of the time was heard, and that unranked playlist idea is now completely out the window. The scrims feature is only temporarily replaced because the scrims feature itself was actually only temporary, but constant ranked events are going to happen until the adoption of a post-launch feature called World League Gauntlets. Now, we really haven't been given much information on what the Gauntlet feature truly is since the initial announcement in Operation Absolute Zero's launch post in December, but it was stated in this most recent update that Gauntlets will be a ranked way to progress your overall rank in between events by chaining together wins, with the endpoint being striking out with 3 losses. But until then, though, you will have ranked playlists throughout your time playing, even outside of the League play events that happen, again, in those shorter durations. Additionally, more feedback was taken into consideration, as that we'll see additional adjustments in League play when it comes out, supporting multiplayer XP as well as black market progression. So not only will you gain a little bit of XP as you did in Black Ops 2 going towards your overall rank in MP, but you also now have black market progression, allowing you to rank up your black market, get those items out of each event, and so on and so forth. So that's always fantastic, and also it's not the end there, because later in 2019 there'll be further support for teams and clans coming for League play and the competitive nature overall, but that's an unspecified date. But until then, what are we supposed to do? Because yes, it is a huge bummer that something we initially thought at launch or shortly thereafter was pushed back to late January and then again inevitably to mid-February. While it's not the same thing, Treyarch is at least adding in a supplemental League playlist, which is a Pro Series mosh pit in the public forum. It's going to be added as of tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time as a part of a couple of different things coming to the game, as well as the PC update finally coming. Also, this playlist will allow players to play in a public match that you can then earn MPXP in the same format that the pros would, with the same restrictions, same map pools, and all the same rule sets of a competitive ladder, but in regular play. Where this will differ from a League play event or eventual Gauntlet is that it will be open, so players can leave and players can join in progress. Additionally, this particular playlist, being that it is not a ranked playlist and it's only a public playlist, will not utilize skill-based matchmaking and will not count towards any later introduction of the ranking system and the League ladders. And finally, last up on the discussion board here, well, how long do we actually have to wait for it? It's detailed as coming mid-February, but when exactly is that supposed to be? Because late January was kind of ambiguous, but mid-February still kind of accounts for even a little bit more that we can have as that big question mark. But to me, I think this comes around the 18th or 19th of February. Operation Absolute Zero has a few weeks left, but if you end up considering when it ends on PlayStation 4, which is unfortunately the platform that will get League play first, I'm still a little confused as to why a dubbed fourth pillar of Black Ops 4 as a core component is an exclusive, but that's beyond me. But Absolute Zero ends on the 19th, and so will presumably transfer over into the third operation of Black Ops 4 at that point. We saw that Operation First Strike rolled right into Operation Absolute Zero. There was literally a changeover in which you could watch whatever tier you were on in the Contraband stream change all the way back down to one with Operation Absolute Zero right on the dot of 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So a major game update is going to have to happen to allow for all that new content to be added in, and presumably that's when we're going to see more maps for MP, when we're going to end up seeing a new weapon tuning and all things considered. So it's probably something that we'll either have an update on that Tuesday the 19th or the Monday before to get everything ready so that players can just jump right into it on the 18th. So if you ask me, it fits perfectly in there to add in something absolutely major in a core component of the game, as they're going to already have a massive title update to begin with. So in that sense, if I were to give you a more precise date and guess compared to just mid-February, I'd say look out for Monday, February 18th or Tuesday, February 19th, but that's all just an educated guess. Regardless, that's the truth here and everything that has to be known about League play within Black Ops 4. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you guys think here of this? You guys bummed out that it was again delayed? Are you guys happy they're taking feedback of the community into consideration and kind of custom tailoring it a little bit more towards the Black Ops 2 gold standard, but also giving a nice little twist that hopefully should logically work out for how placements and ladders work? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But that's where we're going to wrap it up. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 4, multiplayer, Blackout, zombies. We got you covered, the best of updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. We got you covered. So if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, there's the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. Well, let's head out of the way. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Mine is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.